guys, welcome back to my channel. Simone here. Today is going to be a bit of a fun one because I don't even know what I'm going to be filming, so this could be interesting. I did a video recently talking about books that I wanted to read by some of my favourite authors, and it was a bit of an off-the-cuff video because the video I had planned to film, I didn't like the idea anymore, and so I just came up with another one kind of on the spot. And so I know a lot of people mentioned that they really enjoyed the kind of like off-the-cuff, like unplanned video, I guess. So I thought to myself, I'm going to start a new little series on my channel, and I'm going to call it BookTube Subscriptions Pick My Video. And what I mean by that is I'm going to go through my subscriptions. I'm going to start at the top of the most recently uploaded, and I'm going to film whatever video that person has filmed. So whether it's a tag video, I will obviously do that tag as well. If it's a, I don't know, recommendations video, I'll do that too. Any video that someone has done, I will do. And the only sort of like thing that I'm putting on it that I won't do, I'm not going to do like TBRs, wrap-ups, hauls, vlogs obviously, because I mean, I'm sat here filming, so it's just not going to happen. And obviously, if I've already done the video, then obviously I'm not going to do it again. But if it is a tag video, I'm not going to read the questions before I do it. I'm just going to do it off the cuff, and I'm going to try and do it without editing it. Now, I don't normally do that. I'm quite heavily editing my videos. I will obviously edit out massive pauses, or like, you know, long chunks of time where I'm thinking or whatever, because nobody needs to sit and watch my face just go, so yeah, I will obviously edit that bit, and I will obviously put my ending and stuff on, but other than that, I'm going to try to be heavily unedited, which is a little bit scary, but yes. So I have my computer over here. You won't obviously be able to see it. I haven't gone onto it yet, so I don't actually have a clue what I'm going to be filming, and I'm going to talk about the videos on there, so I'm literally about to click on subscriptions and see what I'm going to film. I'm a bit nervous. Okay, so the most recent video that has been posted on my subscriptions box was posted 25 minutes ago, so it's currently 10:26 in the morning on the 31st of July. Obviously this video will go up a little bit later on, and the video was by Portal in the Pages, who is a channel I absolutely adore. I think Sophie is amazing, and she has made a video called Booker Prize Longlist 2019. So that's what I'm going to do too. So I am going to just, I actually have no idea what the long list or the Booker Prize, what's long list is shortlisted. I probably haven't read any of them, but I'm really interested to see if I have read any of them, if I've heard of any of them, and I would love to talk about them with you. So yeah, I hope that you don't mind this kind of video. I want to try and do this sort of every, you know, couple of weeks, every month maybe, just to give me a bit more variety as well. I think it's nice to kind of film things that I would never have filmed a Booker Prize video ever. So this is going to be really fun. I'm really excited about it. So let me know what you think about this in the comments. So I'm literally just going to look at Booker Prize long list 2019 and see if I can have a look. So I'm looking up on the website, is it called the bookerprizes.com/fiction? I'm assuming that is the right website. So the Booker Prize is a literary award that's awarded to annually to the best novel of the year written in English and published in the UK or Ireland. So potentially I might have seen some of these. I've probably heard of them, if not, because I know that Charlie from Charlie Brooke loves the she watches Simon's videos a lot. I've not watched a load of them this year. I do love Simon though, and he obviously talks about like the Booker Prizes and stuff quite a bit. So yes, I'm interested. Let's have a look then. So I believe the Booker Prize long list was announced on the 24th of July, and I think then the shortlist will be announced in September, and the winner will be in October. So let's have a look at the long list. I am quite excited, if I'm honest, because like I said, I just haven't a clue. So it looks like the first book on the Booker Prize long list is The Testaments by Margaret Atwood, which is the sequel, I believe, to The Handmaid's Tale. And I've actually recently read The Handmaid's Tale. In fact, when I filmed this video, I finished reading it maybe 2 days ago. So that's really interesting to me. I didn't actually know that the Testaments was out yet. I thought it was coming out this year sometime, so that's really interesting. Apparently it's set 15 I'm sorry, I'm reading a lot of stuff off the screen over here. It's set 15 years after the final scene in The Handmaid's Tale and is narrated by 3 female characters, so it's really interesting to me because I have no idea obviously who they could be. I always thought that The Handmaid's Tale has like well, I haven't always thought, but since I read it, I thought The Handmaid's Tale ended in a really kind of like cliffhanger way. So I feel like this could be a good one to read now, because I haven't obviously not long read The Handmaid's Tale, and it's not something that I'm going to forget what happened, because I thought it was a really great book. I gave it a 4-star, I really enjoyed it. So The Testaments, it's really interesting that that has got the Booker Prize. Yeah, I'm excited for that. Up next we have a book called Night Boat to Tangier by Kevin Barry. So this one is not a book I've actually heard of. This is a, I think it's a book about a Spanish port, Irish gangsters. I don't really know anything else about it. It says, this is a novel drenched in sex and death and narcotics, in sudden violence and old magic, but it is obsessed above all with the mysteries of love. So that could be really interesting. Again, it's not a book I've really heard about before, but I know that a lot of the times Man Booker Prize winners tend to be books that have quite good kind of there always seems to be lots of books from different, like, set in different countries, which I think is really interesting. So this could be a really good one. Again, I don't know obviously anything else about it, but potentially it could be a good one. Next up we have a book that I have heard of before, and I'm actually really excited because I'm pretty sure I have this pre-ordered or whatever on my library app that I have, so I can get the ebook potentially. This is My Sister the Serial Killer by Oyinkan Braithwaite. I'm really hoping that I said that right. I think this is about a woman who gets a phone call from her sister to say that she's killed somebody, I think, and although it says here this will be the 3rd boyfriend she's dispatched in, quote, self-defense. I think this is also set in Nigeria, which I think I've mentioned before in a video that one of my best friends is Nigerian, so I'm really interested in reading more about Nigeria, and kind of, obviously this is not necessarily going to be a kind of, you know, typical Nigerian, you know, general person, but I think that it's interesting that it's set in that kind of place, and I love to read. I really enjoy reading books set in Nigeria, so if you have any recommendations for books in Nigeria, do let me know, because like I said, it's one of my favourite kind of things, and I'm excited about that. But yeah, I haven't read this one yet, but I do really want to, so potentially another one from the Man Booker Prize that I may even win. May win, who knows? I don't know. I'd love to know what who you think is going to win, because some of these I've never even heard of before, so yes, it could be fun. Next up we have a book called Ducks Newburyport by Lucy Ellman, and I believe this is a book about America, as in it talks about I think it's an Ohio housewife who is trying to figure out what it means to be in America, and she's worrying about lots of different things, and about like school shootings, medical debts, lots of things about America. Yeah, so this could be interesting. I think especially in the climate that we're in today, this definitely probably is a contender. Obviously I've not read it, but the themes of it, I mean, I think it's definitely an important read potentially. And yeah, I mean, I've not heard of this one, if I'm honest, and I've not heard anyone talking about it. But to be honest, I don't tend to watch a lot of channels that I need to watch more channels that talk about adult literature, because I think that's kind of where I don't necessarily know a lot of these books, is because a lot of the channels I watch read YA, which is kind of one of my favourite genres anyway. But I do think potentially I'm branching now more into kind of high fantasy, and also into kind of a bit more literary fiction as well. So possibly that is something that I may, next year for example, I may have read a bit more of that kind of area, or at least heard of those types of books. But yeah, not heard of this one, but definitely I think it's got a good message from what I can tell from what it says on the website. Next up we have a book called Girl, Woman, Other, and that is by Bernardine Evaristo. I have heard of this one before. So this, I believe, is I'm not sure if it's short stories or if it's one story but it's told from like 12 different perspectives. So they're mostly Black British women telling the stories of like their families and their life and stuff like that around. I think this is to do with history, and it's about reality, and I love the fact that this talks about Britain as well as a big thing, because I do think that a lot of the books that I read do tend to be from other countries, or like about America specifically, a lot of the books I read, so that could be really interesting. And I think that you know, reading about Black women is amazing, and I wanted to read more, so I've definitely tried to diversify my reading a lot more recently, so hopefully this is another one that I will get to, because it does sound amazing. Then we have The Wall by John Lanchester. This one I think is a mystery story set in the war. So it says, The Wall is a thrilling and hypnotic work of fiction. Kavanaugh begins his life patrolling the wall. If he's lucky, if nothing goes wrong, he has only 2 years of this, 729 more nights. The best thing that can happen is that he survives and gets off the wall and never has to spend another day of his life anywhere near it. He longs for this to be over, longs to be somewhere else. So yeah, I don't know anything about which wall this is. I don't know if the wall, maybe the Berlin Wall, or is this a fake, like a fictional wall? I don't know. Could be great though. I do love kind of historical war love stories, so potentially that's what this is. So yeah, I'm interested in another one here, so that's great, isn't it? I'm quite excited about the list so far. We then have The Man Who Saw Everything by Deborah Levy. Deborah Levy is definitely someone I've heard lots about. I feel like Simon has definitely spoken about this author before, and I feel like Charlie has definitely mentioned Deborah Levy to me before. I feel like when we went to shopping, she was looking potentially for Deborah Levy books, or she read one, I'm not entirely sure. Funnily enough, this actually does follow the Berlin Wall, or something to do with the Berlin Wall. I think it's set 2 months before the Berlin Wall was brought down. This is about a man named Saul Adler who's hit by a car, and then she photographs him crossing, his girlfriend, sorry, photographs him crossing Abbey Road, where he was hit by the car. To be honest with you, I'm reading the synopsis and it sounds very confusing. There's not a lot that seems to be linking a lot of these things together. So I'm not really sure, if I'm honest. I'm assuming this is historical fiction, but I could be wrong completely. I have no idea. Again, it's about the Berlin Wall, and I don't really know too much about that sort of time in history, to be honest. So it could be a fun one. I'm not sure how I feel about this one, to be honest, but I have heard great things about the author. So yeah, potentially one that might do well. The next one is not one I've heard of, but having just quickly read the synopsis, it sounds amazing. It's called Lost Children Archive, and it's by Valeria Lucelli, I think that's how you say it. So this follows 2 different perspectives. It follows a family travelling from New York on a road trip to Mexico, and it follows a load of Mexican children who are travelling north to the US border from Mexico, and it's about the difference between a road trip where the family are like eating in motels and, you know, enjoying themselves and whatever, and then it follows the Mexican refugees who potentially, a lot of the children don't even make it to the border because unfortunately they die first. As far as I can tell, this is kind of about the juxtaposition of 2 completely different worlds and about how that works, and that sounds amazing to me. I'm actually really want to get this one now. This sounds really good. And yeah, I love how on the bottom of this little bit it says, a moving, powerful, urgent story about what it is to be human in an inhuman world, and that could not sum up the world right now like any better. So yeah, this sounds really interesting, and definitely one that I think, this is probably the one so far that I'm the most intrigued to pick up, and I haven't heard of it before, so this is definitely a great video because it's really helped me to kind of know what I want to potentially read soon. The next one is called An Orchestra of Minorities by Chigozie Obioma. Oh, I've probably said that completely wrong. This also follows is set in Nigeria again, so I'm excited about that. So very quickly, I will just say, this says, a young poultry farmer named Chinonzo sees a woman attempting to jump to her death from a highway bridge. Horrified by her recklessness, Chinonzo joins her on the roadside and hurls 2 of his most prized chickens into the water below to demonstrate the severity of the fall. The woman, Ndali, is moved by his sacrifice, and then they're bonded together after that night and they fall in love, and I think it's about that really. It says it's a contemporary twist on Homer's Odyssey, which again is not something I've actually read, but apparently this is an epic, so I'm assuming this is quite a long book, to be honest, because, I mean, but it sounds amazing. Again, a Nigerian book, which I really want to read more of. I'm excited, and yeah, I think this one could also be a great contender. So then we have a book called Lani by Max Porter. This is a book that I feel like I've heard of before, but I don't know anything about it. It apparently follows a village just outside of London that is a typical village, but there is a dead man watching, I think. and he is looking for the boy Lani, and again I know nothing else about it. This one doesn't jump out at me as really exciting or anything like that, but potentially I feel like a lot of the time the synopsis doesn't always say what it is that it's actually about, so I don't know, it could be good. I have absolutely no idea, but yeah, not one I am kind of like screaming to read. Then we have, oh, I don't even know how to say this one, Quixote by Salman Rushdie. Quixote? I have no idea, I'm sorry, I've probably completely butchered that. Apparently this one is inspired by Don Quixote, hence why probably the title is something interesting. And this is about an aging travelling salesman who falls in love with a TV star and then travels across America to prove himself worthy of her hand. Again, not one I'm super excited about, probably because I don't really know Don Quixote that well, and but it does talk apparently about father-son relationships, sibling quarrels, and about racism. So again, it tackles a lot of kind of important topics, so definitely something that I feel like could do really well. I feel like a lot of the Man Booker Prize winners tend to, or the Booker Prize winners tend to be you know, quite have a lot of really good themes in them, so this is potentially another great one. But let me know if you've read it. Again, let me know if you read any of these, but yeah. Next up is 10 minutes 38 seconds in This Strange World by Elif Shafak. This cover is stunning. I think if any of them, I would definitely have just picked this one up as the cover by. So this follows a girl named Layla who has died, and each minute after she dies brings a new memory. So she has like the taste of something, the sight of something, and all this sort of thing. And her friends are now trying to find her. I don't really know, it sounds really kind of like mysterious, and a bit kind of like magical realism maybe, I don't know. Yeah, the cover of this is gorgeous, and it would make me pick this up anyway, and something about the title reminds me of like time travel-y stuff, so maybe, I don't think it is that, but yeah, it definitely has that magical realism vibe to me, so potentially one that would be interesting. And then only one more, so the last one is called Frankenstein by Jeanette Winterson. Now, I've heard amazing things about Jeanette Winterson's writing. I feel like she often gets quite high praise for her, did she write, she tends to get quite high praise for her books and a lot of her themes, and it definitely is quite diverse. However, I will, I think Laura from the channel What Everyone Else Is Reading did a blog post about this, so I will link it down below if I can find it. If not, definitely go and check out Laura's channel because I'm sure she's mentioned it. So I think that she's mentioned that this book is incredibly, like, problematic and incredibly offensive. So this one I think follows after, or is it during Brexit? I don't know, it's definitely got Brexit in it, and it follows a transgender doctor, and I'm assuming it's got, obviously has, it's like a retelling of Frankenstein. But I know that Laura has definitely said that the transgender representation in this is really, really bad and not healthy at all. So definitely something that I would look into more before I read this book. I know that Charlie picked this up relatively recently as well, and I know that she was a bit worried about it now, knowing that kind of that's what Laura had been saying, and I know I completely trust Laura's opinion a lot of the time, like from pretty much anything. So definitely something that I would look into before I picked this up. I do think the cover of this is amazing, and if the transgender representation was good in it, I would definitely pick it up because, you know, good representation can be difficult to find. I like I said, don't know anything else about that, but I would go and check out Laura's blog post because, or yeah, I would definitely go and check that out because I think it's important to know that before you go into it, basically. So there you go, guys, that was my kind of impromptu, didn't know what I was going to film today, but I've decided to film a Booker Prize Longlist 2019 video. That is not something I ever thought I would say, so that's really exciting. I really like this idea of video, but let me know what you think. Did you enjoy hearing me talk about the Booker Prize books, or are you not interested in hearing about books I've not even read? Yeah, let me know. A big thank you again to Sophie from Portal Pages for obviously inspiring this video. So my video shout out will go to Sophie because obviously she's the one that inspired this video. Yes, so let me know what you think of this type of video. I'm very much excited about it. I really like it personally, and I would love to make more videos like this. Give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it, and subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, and I will see you next time for another one. Bye guys.